Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast at thenewscasters.com. Still find us on the radio at icradio.media. So good to be with you today. I have a very special friend of mine, Rick Staines, and he is a security specialist. He's also a photographer. He does... What else do you do? You do all kinds. He has this gigantic business card. I mean, it's like really huge. It's like a billboard. So what else do you do, Rick?
Oh, well, it's more easy. It's probably easy to say what I don't do. I do.
You're not in politics. You're not in politics.
Oh, well, thankful for that too. I don't want to be in politics. I don't speak with a forked tongue, but no, I do a lot of things. I do security. It's obviously security is my main job. I do executive protection, run executive protection for the company I work for. I will give obviously what security advice I can. I'm a photographer, videographer, geek, all-round geek. Like we were discussing before, with all the bits and pieces that I do. I do sound. I'm a sound. I did sound production. Training through the company. The company actually paid for it, so I mess around with sound too. So yeah, it's just a general geek, really.
Yeah, it's fine with me because I get all kinds of advice from you, which I treasure. Absolutely. I wanted to ask you about something though, and you briefly mentioned, because you and I have a show before the show and after the show. We always do, you and I. So, but I wanted to ask you about, because we have a lot of our audience is concerned, and then some people are embracing it, and that's AI.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts about that?
Okay, well, having dabbled with a little bit of AI, both in the text and now the sound, not only the text, the voice, the sound, music, I'm now beginning to start with the video too. So it has its pluses and it has its minuses. It's taking a lot of things away from us as human beings because we can an AI is just artificial intelligence. We can ask the computer, because it learns too. We ask the system, the software, to produce certain things, and we can give it prompts on how we want it to look. So I can write a song and I can say, right, I just type in country song about a lonely boy who drives a red truck. Bang. Okay. And it will actually produce a song about a lonely boy who drives a red truck, and it'll be a country version. And then you can go in and you can tweak it, and but it's all artificial. It learns all the time. So every time you input something, it's learning. It's almost a little bit like Terminator. It's to the point where these things are very, very powerful, and so where we use it for like a little bit of fun, a little bit of levity, and we can produce pictures and sounds and stuff like that. There is another side to that. So we did a test at work where we actually got the computer to learn one of the ladies' voices, and it was almost perfect. When it produced her voice, it came in the same tone, and the only difference was the speed of which it spoke. It was just a little bit too fast, and that was the throw out. So with AI right now, you can tell the difference from reality if you know what you're looking for. Like in the early days of pictures, it will give you an extra finger. It would do silly things, but that's because it's learning not to do that now. So it's getting better. Same with video. If you watch a video, we all know deep fake videos. We've all seen them. People will say, well, this is so-and-so, and it's not. It's a deep fake video. If you look hard enough, you can actually see. But there's so much going on. Even the de-aging now, the de-aging software, I think they did it on Ewan McGregor in Kenobi. They actually put dots on there, and the computer actually tracks the face and de-ages you when they put it through process. It de-ages him to the age that they were supposed to be in the original film. It's kind of crazy, but it's very, very good. But it does have very sinister overtones.
I think it does too. And I'll tell you something I thought was interesting. So Yahoo.com, very liberal, we know that organization. And so I saw it was a tag about Donald Trump and said that he had faked a picture. Said he was using AI and had him surrounded by some black people, and said that he faked that. He was not really around black people. Well, it looked legit to me. I can tell an AI. I really can. So anyway, I had to respond. And I said, well, if he had AI and he has all the money in the world, couldn't he have done a better job? I mean, it's like the world is turning into like everything lie. I mean, you don't know what's truth anymore. You got to really dig for information these days. And so what if you have a sinister, say, competitor? Okay, you have a competitor and they're trying to get rid of you. They're trying to put you out of business. Couldn't they pretend to be you somehow? Use your voice, use your face, all this, and just have you do something really crazy where people wouldn't want to do business with you anymore.
They could do. And I think as this goes on, there's going to be, restrictions put on certain things. Even with the music, there's restrictions already, obviously to where you can put it, and because you have to pay because it's not yours. It's been produced by a machine, by software, and that belongs to somebody. That software belongs to somebody, so they own the rights to that. You don't, so you can't monetize it. But as the stuff gets, more and more, finite, and things like that could happen. And the dark web, what they call the dark web, takes over, where people on the dark web will produce stuff like that, and even sell that to your competitor and say, "Hey, look what we just found." Not necessarily the company that the competitor doing it. It could be someone selling it to them, saying, "Hey, look what we found. You could use this." I think eventually there's going to be legislation on this, and there's going to be very, very tight controls on it, because it can run rampant. And I mean, we're talking about crazy rampant. I mean, you could already write a book with AI. You can literally say, "I want a book, 10 chapters, and name me."
But that's not really.
It's not. But it will do it, and it will name the chapters, and then you can just beef it out, and then you can take it to other software and you can humanize it, which will take all the AI kind of elements into it, because there are certain things, certain words it will use repeatedly, and then so you take them out and then you humanize it, and then you take it through another one. Eventually, you'll end up with a book that people would find it very difficult to find that it was actually written by AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is what I find interesting, because I feel for maybe a few decades now, it's as if, I don't know, trying to take away our intelligence, trying to take away our ambition, trying to take away what we think. And I'll just use this for example. The young folks who work at a fast food restaurant cannot give you change back. Because they can't. I mean, that's terrible. So what if we wind up with we already have a generation of that. So the next generations moving forward, they're not using their brain. They're using calculators. They're not thinking in logic.
No.
Is that good for the country? Is that good for us? Is that good for them?
No, it's not good at all. I mean, the whole industry has just been decimated. If you look, the voiceover industry, and I was thinking about getting into it, but then you also look at it from the other point of view. People know I can throw something out there and go, and they'll go like, "It's artificial. It's artificial." What we do is there's something about us humans that when we do something, like if I'm doing a voiceover, if I'm doing a conversation with you, I can do a conversation with an AI. I literally could do a conversation, have a radio show with a mock interview with someone that doesn't exist. Okay. Not necessarily see their face, but it would be a radio interview. The trouble is all the little nuances that you miss out on, because it doesn't give you the nuances yet. It doesn't give you all the little quirks that us as humans do. The laughter, the giggles, the stutters, the little the waffling. It doesn't give you that. It's kind of like very direct. So when you listen to something, you can go, "That's not human. That's a machine." So we can decipher, but overall, everything that we're doing right now is definitely there to make us dumber and make the machine smarter, because that's what they want. You know, they want a machine to be able to do everything, because then you don't have to do anything and you become a slave to the state because there's no job for you. So you have to go to the government for, you know, the food stamps and your welfare, and you're then their slave.
Absolutely. We're being made slaves of. But I wanted to mention this as well. So local radio stations are doing this, and maybe some of the bigger ones are as well. So when they have a weather report, I can tell it's AI. There's no voice inflection.
Yep.
There is no good afternoon, rain today. There's nothing like that. There's no, it's just this, it just sounds like a robot, just all the way through. So I ran into a lady at the grocery store the other day, and she said, I like your weather reports. I said, you kidding me? I said, it's actually a joke. And she said, no, she said, you're real. She said, because I don't know if these radio stations understand this or not. She said, there's something that sounds like it's not right. And she said, you're like a real human being with your weather and your traffic report.
And she has a point. And that's a very interesting point. It's a very valid point, actually, is the fact that, people want that. When you do any kind of stuff like this, whether it's, radio show, TV show, whether you do, voice, you can read a book and you can read it as a human being, and there'll be far more inflection, far more emotion in that reading that you do than if they got an AI thing to do it. An AI would not give you that emotion. And that's the difference between us, is that, because there's shows that I've seen where, they have like humanoid kind of looking robots, and the one thing they do lack is empathy and that human element, the human elements that we have that make us everything that we are. And that's what people crave, is they want that attachment. They want that humanization of something. When you're talking to them about something, whether it just be whether like the weather, they want to know that you're actually being sincere about it, and you're actually there, and you're a human being, rather than just verbatim reading something or having a computer script. So it's a very valid point.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think it's that human touch.
Yes.
And people are looking for that. So another thing I'm getting from our audience is they like the shows where I'm actually doing stuff. I'm making something. I'm walking with them. And people are nosy by nature. They want to know what this farm looks like.
Yes.
And so they want me to walk around with a camera. Those are the most watched shows.
Yeah. It's anything where you are giving information, giving knowledge. And we all crave knowledge. We want to learn about other people and what they do and how they do it. And I wonder where Donna lives, and I wonder what it looks like, because you're giving them, pleasure by doing that, because that's what humans do. We want to learn. It's all about input. It's like being a computer, but on a different level. We love input. So when you're sitting there, and it's like learning new skills as well. I love sitting there watching somebody do their job and go like, wow, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then even going to do it myself, like when I make the moonshine. Okay, I do that because I can do that, and I watch, and I learn, and it's fascinating. And it's just watching 10 different people and getting 10 different points of view on how they do it, and just going like, well, okay, I kind of like that one, because we're very picky. We like that one, we like that, but I didn't like that person because they look funny. Well, because we like that, and then you just take that and you go and do it yourself. So again, there's a whole element of, but like that brings that human input sometimes that we need, with the knowledge and just that, the empathy.
Well, something I find interesting too, and this is on YouTube. I check out a lot of, because we're beekeepers, and I just love bees. And so I look at some of the videos, and it's almost like there's too much flash. There's too much, I know about bee. I mean, it turns into this weird, like I don't want to be entertained. I really don't want to be entertained. I would much rather see an old farmer who has been a beekeeper for the past 40 years. And even though he has like no personality most of the time, he's just looking at you and he's just saying, I'll have to tell you what you need to do and what you don't need to do. I like as much instruction about what not to do as to what to do, because I feel like that person has really had the experience if they can tell me what not to do.
And I think that, again, it's a valid point, is that we like the one thing that AI can't give you is just a character. You know, if you've ever written anything or watched anything of value, the one thing that we do love is a really good character. It's got to be well rounded in that whatever they're in, they're well rounded. Or if they're not well rounded, they're kind of off skewed, but we kind of quirky, and we go like, I kind of like that guy because he's not perfect. We sometimes look for the non-perfect because we see enough people now trying to be perfect or pretending that they're perfect, when in reality they're not, because they use all the artificial stuff to make them perfect. And when they come into the real light, you go right. Well, you look at a dating picture these days, and you go that you don't even look like your dating picture more because all the filters are gone. Okay, so we kind of like somebody just being human and somebody being flawed. That's great. When you're flawed, there's nothing better than a flawed human being. We love our superheroes flawed too. They've got to have a weakness. They've got to have an in for the bad guys. And we kind of then stand up for that because we like that. So it's always nice when you pick somebody and you go like, yeah, they're funny. I don't know why they're funny, but they're kind of funny and they're a little bit weird and they don't talk. They've got no personality, but that no personality is actually their personality. It's kind of weird. Human beings are very picky. But that's the beauty of being a human being.
That's them being them. And I'll have to tell you that I've watched YouTube videos. And if I see they're trying to do a song dance to, I don't want a song and a dance. I'm like in a hurry and I want the information right now. I don't have time to hear about anything else. That's my personality when it comes to YouTube. Well, and so if somebody's out there, they're singing and they're dancing, and I'm like, get to the point, please. And then I'll turn it off and find another one.
Right, and I'm the same way. It's like watching a TikTok video. Remember when there was a skew of TikTok videos where they be kind of like fake as well, where somebody was like maybe looking at something going like, oh, look at this, and they keep going on about, oh, look at this, look, and they keep touching it, and normally it's like a blackhead or something like that, and you go, look at, and they're going, is that coming out? And they're going like, I'm really trying, and they're not really trying, they're just keeping you, and there's like, you watch and it says 6. There's 6 of these things. You're going like, no, I can't do this. I can't waste all that time for it to get to the end. And then they didn't always finish either. They just like cut off, and then you got another one. It leaves you so frustrated that you go like, so you start spotting those, and you go like, no, I'm not even going to worry about that. Just tell me. And then the next thing that gets me is, before we do that, could you like, subscribe, and they got 30 seconds of like and subscribe and all the things that they're going to do. No, shut up, tell me what you were going to say, and then go. If I like you, I'll subscribe and I'll follow you. If you don't, then I'm not going to do it.
Probably the quickest one I slammed was, and I just got off his. So he pretended to be a farmer. Okay, he wanted to show people how to raise corn or something. I forgot what it was, but his background was a green screen of a field. I could tell it was a green screen. Right. Well, he was pretending this was his farm, and just a few seconds of him talking let me know, no, he'll have the wrong information. I don't want the wrong information. I want information from some dude who has no personality, and I can actually see the weeds and everything in his farm. That's the one I'm going to listen to.
But you also want all of the other elements that come into that. It's like me saying that, like, this is my farmhouse, and that is my farm. No, it's not. It's a green screen, and that's perfectly fine. And I don't care that it's a green screen.
Doesn't matter. But you're not saying it's your farm. And this guy was actually saying it was his farm.
I like it when they're saying it's their farm, and then they show you that it's actually their farm, and you can see the breeze, and you can hear the birds, and you can hear the noise, and you can dogs barking, and you can hear all the other stuff that's got all the stuff you expect to hear from a farm. Tractors, whatever. Just
roosters are going to be crowing. I don't care what farm you've got. A rooster is going to crow. And another thing about this guy, you could see that he had a fan. There was a fan blowing on him, but then none of the leaves in the back were moving. Right. And then he was talking about what a windy day they were having. And I was like, well, why is it only at you? I mean, so I just went click.
And was he doing that seriously, or was he trying to fool people?
No, he was serious. He was trying to have people know that.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
That's fakey. Yeah. So this is, I have a question about this. So a lot of people are finding someone that's a very special person online. With the world of AI, okay, so you first of all, most of that I'm going to say probably, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say probably a huge proportion of that is people trying to get money out of you.
Mhm.
But here's what I suspect. Okay, so somebody has something that looks like it could be their high school picture or something, and they're supposed to be like 60 years old or something. We'll say,
Mhm.
okay, and you're gonna like buy into this that's that real person. It looks a little too perfect.
Yeah. The trouble is, it's more complex than we really kind of think. When you're meeting somebody, whether it be online or anywhere, but I mean, let's take for online. When you're meeting somebody online, so you start, the first obviously is going to be like email or a text, and you get to, you get a little bit of a background story. Okay, how long what's the acceptable time for that to go, okay, we need to take it to the next level? Because if you're going to go 3 months without seeing this person in person, then you're in a world of hurt. Okay, so the next thing obviously would be to talk to them on the phone. If they don't want to talk to you on the phone, then walk away, because that's the biggest thing. People don't want to talk, especially then if they go like, well, how about FaceTime or doing a video call? Because that would be the next thing. Is I want to see you. I want to see what you look like in the flesh. No filters. They don't want to do that, or their phone doesn't work. Sorry, I don't have an iPhone. I don't have that. Well, okay, we'll get WhatsApp. We can do a video chat on that one. There's plenty of apps out there where you can do video chat. If they don't want to do that, again, walk away. I've seen catfish numerous times when people go like, yeah, I've been talking to her for 4 years. I've sent them money, but I've never met them. You've never met this person. And then you find out at the end, it's like the person that they've known all along, and just, they just randomly pick someone's picture. And, it's just, so again, there's things that you should be expecting to do in a certain time scale with a person that you meet. And I have horror stories from the online, believe me. Been there, done that, got stung, would never do it again. It's better to meet people in person, because that's the only way to meet a person is in person.
And they look nothing like the picture they've been posting out there, I'm pretty sure. But there are people who pose on Facebook. I happen to know someone personally who's been scammed a couple of times. And so, and this person is supposed to be like really high up in the military, or it's always some big something like that. Mm-hmm. Another one to look out for is they're usually single, their spouse passed away.
Yeah.
But there's always a picture of them and a kid, and all you see is pictures of them.
Yep.
And so this person I know has been scammed out of several $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
But all I have to do is tell her how pretty she is.
Oh yeah. Again, it boils down to that, what we were discussing earlier about, the narcissism and the self-narcissism and all that other stuff. We love when people compliment us. Yeah, especially if you have had, the opposite happen to you, where people have put you down all your life or said nasty things. When someone nice says something nice, you kind of like, oh, you gravitate towards that. So again, but it's also knowing the battleground. I remember went to buy a car once, and it was advertised, and it was a Nissan Murano. Okay, now I knew at that point that car should have been around about $8,000 at that point in time, because I'd done my research before I even replied to that. I wonder what that's retailing at.
You did your research. That's pretty key. Yeah.
Did you just lose me?
No, I hear you, but I don't see you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know what's happened. Oh, hang on. My camera's gone dead. Hang on. Tiny. Hey, Tiny.
You know what? Let's go ahead and cut into a commercial. Oh, you're back. Okay.
The camera went asleep. I was obviously boring it to death.
No, okay, it's not boring. You're telling us all stuff we need to hear.
Anyway, so the Murano. So I contacted this lady about the Murano, and I got the story that she her husband had just died, blah, 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 and she needed the money and everything, and she was selling it cheap. And she was selling it for like, I think it was like $1,000 to $1,500. And I'm like, why are you selling it so cheap? She goes, I just need the money. I'm like, okay, well, can I come look at the vehicle? And the next step is if you know, you know. So when she said, well, it's actually in a, what did she say it was? Oh, it's in a warehouse. And so I'm going, okay, so it's in a warehouse. So you haven't got the car. She goes, no, it's in a warehouse. So she said, you can't see the car until you pay me the money. And I'm like, well, that's not how it works. I said to her, first of all, so because, oh, that's right. She advertised it on one thing. I think it was like Car Gurus or something like that. But she was selling it through, she said it was a Facebook warehouse. And I said, so you're selling it for a Facebook warehouse, but you're advertising on this one. Okay, where are you selling it? I said, you can only sell it in one place. You can sell it across the board, but yeah, you don't have it here and then go like, well, no, it's at this is warehouse, and they won't release it because, and you go like, okay, there's too many excuses here. Okay, you're selling a car, I want to buy a car. I want to look at car. If I like the car, I buy the car. You give me the car, I give you the money. Done. Not I have to go through hoops because it's at the warehouse and you want me to send you the money first. I said, first of all, I don't even know what the car looks like in the flesh. I've got to go check it out, drive it, all of those things. No, that's not going to happen. Well, then you're not going to sell the car, love. It's as simple as that. But there are people that fall for that. There are people that fall for that and saying that, well, I sent them the money and then I didn't hear anything. Well, because you're an idiot.
Let me tell you, this is so funny. So I get a phone call, and this person tells me they're with Publishers Clearinghouse. Congratulations. First of all, they sound like they're from Nigeria or something. And so it's kind of broken English. And anyway, I win. Okay, right off the bat, I hear a rooster. And so a rooster crowing, like you will on my farm. I mean, I'm at a farm, but this person apparently was somewhere in Africa. So I said, did I just hear a rooster in the background? And he said, no, that's our mascot. I said, you're a mascot? I said, so Publishers Clearinghouse has a mascot of a rooster? And it was just fun. So I looked over at Phil and I said, hey, Phil, we just won like $1 million Publishers Clearinghouse. And he said, oh, really? With a rooster? Did we get the rooster? I just hung up on the fool. But I mean, is there some kind of and I'm getting all the phone calls too about, and this is another important one right here. This is election year, okay, presidential election year. So I'm beginning to get a lot of text about saying that they're Donald Trump and they're, I need money. I need this. I would never give money to anything like that. So what happens is I'm getting the same ones. It's like a different telephone number they're sending through text, but it's the same message over and over again. And so what I do is I delete it and I report it. So you can do that. How many people are falling to that scam? If you're going to give to Donald Trump or if you're going to give to Joe Biden, whoever you're going to give to, you need to go to their website, their official website to do it, right?
It's like so many things. It's like if you get a phone call from a number that you don't recognize, don't answer it, because there's scam calls now that want you to just say yes, and they'll ask you questions so that they're trying to get you to say yes. So if you don't recognize the number, don't answer the call. If it's that important and somebody wants to get hold of you and it's legitimate, they will leave a voice message, and you can get back to them if they've left you a voice message and explained why they were trying to call you. That's how I vet my phone calls. If it's like the other stuff, emails, okay. Emails with links. Don't click on links that you know nothing about. If it's an email, an unsolicited email from somebody going like, if you click on this link, you're going to win $1 million. Don't click on the link. Don't click on it. If it's from your bank and it looks like it's from your bank, do the hover, get your mouse or just look at where it's coming from, because it will say that it'll have the web address. And I guarantee you it'll be close enough to your bank name, but it won't be exactly your bank name. It may have like a different country code on it. It'll be very close. So always check that, but never click on a link. And also, if it's an attachment, if there's any attachment, don't download an attachment. If you don't know that person and they're sending you something that you've never asked for, never wanted, and you don't need, don't open it, because it's going to infect your computer and you're going to end up in trouble.
Well, first of all, your banking institution is not going to send you a message like that. That just won't happen. And another another giveaway I've seen, I get them all the time. They say that I have money. It's a bank I have never done business with ever in my life.
Yeah.
And they say I have money in that account and I need to click this link and follow the link and all this kind of stuff. And then if you'll just go to your search engine, whoever you use, and just put, like it might say Susie at fnbbank.org or something.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll just get the domain name and type that in, you'll see whether it's fake or not. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You can get these people, you can find out what they're up to. And another one I get all the time, I got this phone call and they said they were calling from the sheriff's office. And they said that my daughter has been arrested and that I needed to go to Walmart and I needed to get, first of all, I don't have a daughter. I have the one son. Okay. So anyway, my daughter has been arrested and I need to go to Walmart and get a gift card. I mean, I can't just use my debit card or something, but anyway, I have to go to Walmart and get it. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, this is what I kindly said to the person. I said, if I had a daughter and if she has been arrested, I'm going to let her sit in jail until she learns her lesson. That's the kind of mama I am. So anyway, the person hung up on me. They knew I figured them out. But people are doing this all the time, and people are still falling for it.
Yeah, I mean, I had one from my boss, my old boss, Greg, saying it was through like there was text message or one of our messaging systems, and it said, "Hey, it's Greg. I need you to go to whatever and buy some gift cards." And and I'm thinking, okay, so this guy's a millionaire, right? He's my boss, and I'm going like, okay, so I called him. I'm like, hey, Greg, so this is not you, right? And he's like, no. I'm like, I knew it wasn't, but I'm just confirming because I thought it was funny that someone of your stature, who's the president of a company and has got millions of dollars, and you asking me, mere minion, to go out and get you gift cards so you can send money to your son. And I'm thinking, hang on, there's something wrong with this. Again, it's just knowing what's right, what's wrong in the world. And when it's really weird when people ask you. It's like I get bills all the time from of the Geek Squad going that, oh, we're billing you for this. Yeah. Go ahead, because you're not going to get anywhere. Because I know it's not real. Because one, I have never signed up for Geek Squad. Two, they don't have access to my money. And if they do, what I do is I go straight to my credit cards and my bank and I look to see if anything's come out or going to go out or is pending. No, well, it's just junk. Just leave it. Because
I love the ones who call and say they're going to pay my college debt. I love those because what I say is, okay, if I'm 64 years old and I haven't paid for it yet, it ain't going to get paid. I don't have that much longer life on earth, so I don't care.
Yeah,
if that's true. Let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there. Boy, this is a really weird, messed up world. Really kind of weird out there. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Y'all hang.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to limonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. And Rick likes to ride home with you in the afternoon, too. Rick, you know what? It's going to soon be 19 years since
Wow. Wow.
Can you believe 19 years? And you were a guest on the show back then, too?
I know, and I had like brown hair and I was young. Yeah.
Well, I'll not tell you the real color of mine, but anyway. But let's talk about it. This is just so funny. So all the fake stuff happening and people that are falling for it, and then with all this AI stuff, is it part of a system? I mean, is it part of a system for us to fall for these gags?
I don't think it's a system to fall for the gags. I just think that sometimes we look at stuff and governments and everybody, they all look at stuff going like, yeah, this is going to be a step forward for mankind. And, we were going this way. It's always been going this way. We've always talked about, we're, 20 years ago, you watch a movie, where are we going to be in 2024? And, there'd be flying cars and everything like that. And we've got what we've got right now, which is, people deaf to America and all the other junk that goes on, and talking about, transgender and what have you. But then you've got this underlying kind of like darkness of all of this technology taking over. You go to a McDonald's now, and it's not McDonald's was 10 years ago, because now you go in there because everybody wanted $20 an hour. So now you're not even getting a greeting anymore. You go to an electronic board and you order there because they've saved themselves some money. Okay, you still get the odd person that stands there and waits at the counter to be served. And you're like, dude, it's much quicker if you just come over to the machines because they're busy back there. Okay. So we wanted this. This is where we've progressed to now, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. You go into any factory now, robots can do things far more effectively, efficiently than we can. They don't have unions they don't have to worry about. They don't stop for breaks. They just, if they break down, yes, they just bring a new one in and set it up and go, or just reprogram it and they're off to go. So it's this very dark, sinister underground of technology that's taken over. But it's something that we've pushed and progressed for.
Yeah, but this is hilarious. So we went to a department store yesterday. You know how they have the self-checkouts? And I understand it's to have fewer employees. So there were no registers open, none. And it was all you go through this. Well, they only had one person watching everybody to make sure you weren't trying to steal something. But she was working her behind end off. If she'd been set at a register, it would have been so much quicker. I mean, as a matter of fact, if I were an employee there, I would say, look, just put me in front of a cash register. It's much easier. I can go on ahead and scan everything through instead of having to deal with 10 people who are at 10 different registers trying to check their own self out. That poor girl looked like she was frustrated. I'm just telling you.
And she probably is. And the thing with the self-checkout, as Walmart have found out, I mean, the losses are far greater than the value that is brought to the company as a whole and to us to help us out, because people steal, there are a section of humanity that are just genuinely dishonest. And if they find and get away with something, they will. So now they're phasing that out. To go through that self-checkout is going to cost you $95 a year that you're going to have to pay for so that you can be like, exclusive member to do that, because that's why they recoup any losses, because if everybody pays $95, then they've got some money back. I don't want to pay $95 to Walmart for the privilege of checking myself out. Just spend some money, put some cashiers on the desk and have us checking out like the old fashioned way. And then, so these people that don't have any, human contact or involvement during the week have now someone to talk to. Hey, I can go talk to the checkout person for like 5-10 minutes, whatever. Okay. It's just that little interaction that makes us human. Okay. And all this stuff we're doing right now, this is very inhuman. Okay. And then you get stopped and they say, well, can I see your receipt? Why? Do you not trust me? You trust me enough to put my stuff through, and now you want to check. So there's all that stuff now where people are saying, well, you could be arrested because they can say that you stole something. It's not my problem. You made us do this. I'm just following the system. And if you want us to be stupid and stand there and go, oh, I need to check your receipt. Well, why? You don't trust me. So it's like you're making it easy one way, and then you're bottlenecking it again by having now somebody stop you and having to go through your cart to see if you've got everything that you said you got on your receipt.
Then I got to go through it again, pull it all out of a bag so you can see.
It's just crazy. Just crazy. And if you ever go to like Sam's Club or Costco and they have that person at the end stopping you in the big cart with all your 2 weeks of shopping or 1 month of shopping in there, and they're looking at every single item, you're going like, what, is this what we've come to? I mean, they've just gone through here. I mean, and I get it because it's the way that the store is. You could like load up and walk out. Yeah, fine. I get it, but it also is it's just stupid. But
let's talk about this world. We've got just a few minutes left in this segment. Well, about 12 minutes left. So let's talk about a world of no human contact. What kind of a world would that be?
Oh,
and how close would we get to destruction as far as a nation if we have no human contact?
Well, if you take away complete human contact, I mean, and that's everything. So if you're just everything is just done on a machine and via computer, and it's frustrating for a start. We all know when you call a bank now, you don't get a person. You have to sit and press 0 to get. Otherwise, you go through this menu system that takes you around in circles, and that becomes frustrating. And then when you finally get to a person, they can't help you because they just can't help you. If you go when you do the texting, I don't know if you are on a computer. Sometimes you can get a text assistant. So you go like, well, it'll ask you what your problem is. So you put in there, it goes like, no, you have to be more concise, and you have to like shorten it down to like phrases that the computer understands.
Yeah.
So you're on a loser there, because it's like, well, this is not going to fix anything, because then you have this meaningless conversation with something that can't help you. Is telling you what you've already done. I've done this several times with the company that provides my internet. So go, have you turned off the modem? Yes.
Yes.
Several.
I believe me, I did all of that before I even attempted to pick up the phone to call you.
Yes, I'm here now because I've done everything that I know possibly to do, that I can do, that I've been told to do on several occasions before by you, by this machine and somebody else.
Sure.
So again, the frustration level's there, because eventually you don't, and you can't talk to anybody. And when you do, they're going, well, so you want an engineer to come out? No, I want you to fix my problem. Because they're going like, well, the engineer can be out in 3 weeks. Well, what am I going to do for 3 weeks?
What do I do in the meantime?
Yeah, what am I going to do in the meantime? Well, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, there is. You can get an engineer out here tomorrow or now. Because when I worked for a telephone company, Cordis will be there the next day. That's how we worked. So it's very frustrating. And it'll only get more frustrating as because then it'll get choked down to, you're in channels then. So you've got like however million of people going down this one channel.
Uh-huh.
Try and make phone calls, try and get down, and it'll be like, no, you keep getting locked off. You remember in the days when you could call Delta and you'd sit there and it'd go like, your wait time is 4 hours and 3 minutes. And you go, great. And you'll just sit there and sit there and sit there.
I don't have a job. All I do is draw off the government money, and I can just sit here and wait on you to.
Yeah, like a plum. And then they introduce, well, would you like us to call us back? Oh, that would be very nice. Thank you very much. And then they do actually call you back.
Nice.
Which is nice until you get somebody who's not, a very good English speaker from India trying to help you with a problem in America. And you're going, okay, and their name's Nigel, but they don't sound like Nigel. And you're going, this is where the world is now, right now. All of our call centers are in India, and you're talking to someone with an English name that doesn't really understand English or how to speak it or listen to it either. And you're frustrated.
Communication problems. It's a communication issue there.
So if we have to deal with just computers or call centers with a human being on there who's from another country, and not belittling anybody from another country, that's good luck to them. They've got a job. The trouble is that to do that job, you also have to understand where your market is. And if it's in America, you need to speak English and you need to understand what we're saying and not telling us, I don't understand you. Oh, well, can you put me on someone who does? That'd be nice. Because that's where we end up. It's just frustration.
I tell you, the ones I love are the ones where I call. I'm not going to get a human. I know that. Okay. So you have to press 1 for this, 2 for that, 3, whatever. It's never my situation, ever. I mean, it's very rare that it would be what I'm calling about. Yeah. I mean, it would be. Then I'm yelling, operator. I mean, I'm just yelling it, operator.
Representative.
And, representative. I just want to talk to somebody and then they say, I'm sorry, we didn't understand that. And then they start all over again. And I'm just like, good grief.
Would you remember when they first brought out the iPhone? Well, not the first, but when they started bringing out Siri. And I had my first iPhone and I was talking to it and I was driving and I shouldn't have been doing it, but it was like way back years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was going, hey, Siri. And it was going like, I don't understand you. And I said it 3 times. And in the end, I just threw the phone in the back of the car going, like, okay, I don't want to deal with you. I just don't want to deal with you.
Okay. Well, you have the same issue I do, except that, you have this English accent. I have the Southern English accent. Deal with that one. That's real good. Yeah, where they don't get it, but it's all communication. Okay, I feel like the whole thing is about division. I feel like we want to break down communication, want to break down this, want to break down that, so we can't talk with each other and figure things out. Because sometimes, I mean, like you and I are pretty much anything that happens on Earth, you and I, we get radars. We start thinking, okay, what are they after now? But not everybody's like that.
No, but also it's very interesting you say about division, because it's also about finances and money. Because if you notice everything now, when you go to someone's house, the first thing the kids ask for is, have you got your internet code? Because without internet, they're done. Nothing works. Nothing works unless you have internet. So that's the first thing. So that you've got to have internet, which means you've got to have a router, which means that you've got to pay a company to provide you with that, unless you've got a cell phone company and you've got like a mobile, modem router. Okay. So that's the first thing, is they've got you by the short and curlies because you need internet. Everything you buy needs to have an internet connection or access to the software or to the latest download or to the latest this or that, whatever information. So again, it comes down to a social thing, because if you don't have the money, guess what? You don't have the joys. You then have to go to the library, or you have to go somewhere where it's like you can get, the general Wi-Fi, which is free, and then you can connect. Because you're still going to spend money, because most of those places are coffee shops or McDonald's, where you have to buy something to sit there and use their internet. So it's all based on money, status. There is a divide there, and it will continue getting worse.
And power. A lot of it's about that. I want the power over you.
You think if the whole system went out tomorrow, everything went out, the number of people that would just like lose their minds because these no longer work. Nothing works.
Yeah,
Nothing.
but I think in the long run, it could be the best thing that ever happened to the United States. I don't think the grid's going to go down, because they've got to have the grid going. They've got to have these so they can keep in contact with us all the time, know what we're doing.
I agree.
You're being tracked. You're being tracked no matter what.
If the grid's going to go down, it's going to go down because of an outside power. It's not going to go down because of our government. It's going to go down because of outside power.
Yeah, but think about this. People would actually get together and start talking.
And I think they do already. I think that there's more of that goes on than we actually realize. You live in a small community. I live in a small community, and you can't go around here and do anything in a small community without somebody knowing. You can't do something without somebody knowing.
Maybe adding just a little bit onto it that you didn't do.
One of Tanya's daughters, she got to know the coaches from the softball, the baseball league, and she said, it was like paint and place. She said, this person was married to that person. Now they're separated, but she has 2 kids by this person. But now with seeing the assistant coach who's still working with the ex, and they're still friends. They're their best friends. And you're like, and this is all happening in this small town. And it's like round robbing to who's with who, who's now married to who, and who's divorced who, and whose kids are whose kids. And you're like, oh my God, wow.
I learned a long time ago never to ask someone I knew years ago how their spouse is doing, because this is what's going to, especially if it's a woman. I hate to say this because I'm a woman, but if you ask Susie, how's Tom doing? She's going to start slamming him. She's going to, are you talking about that blank, 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 blank? And I'm going, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring anything up. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been in that situation. I've been on the receiving end of that for nothing that I actually did. It was just a sourpuss person that I was married to at the time. But it happens. And, you kind of like, you just accept that it's a personality thing. That is what it is. But in small towns, when you get it's like a whole gaggle of people together, and you just know, oh, hang on a sec, do I want to get embroiled in all this? No, I don't. I don't really want to know. I'm quite happy not knowing. I'm good.
I think that's kind of why I'm considered an outsider, because I'm not really into the town gossip stuff.
I was going to say, you're not really a gossipy person, are you?
Too busy working.
Yeah, you've never been a gossipy person.
No.
Yeah.
No. Don't have time for that.
When I worked at the mall, and once I realized that it was not the place I thought it was, and they were very restrictive on what we could do, and then they turned around and said, well, you can't go in the stores either. You're not allowed to go in certain stores because you can't show favoritism. I'm like, why not? We are favored because this person actually talks to me and they're nice. That person is a dick. I don't like them. I'm going to go talk to this person. That's just the way it works. That's how we live. I
loved it. It was like security. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like you'd have people hover over you, like you would open your cash register and people would just be like hanging over trying to look in
Yeah.
and see how much money you had in there.
And we were told
All
not to.
you had to do was walk by and people like that would just like scatter. I
Yeah.
mean, I loved it. Thank
Yeah.
you. You probably
they-
saved me a lot of money.
We were told not to do it. We were told, I mean, I was told I was on the phone one night, and because everything in that control room was monitored by another camera, and the manager of the mall had her own link at home. So she saw what was going on. So the next day came out of the directive, no more cell phones on duty. So I managed to walk around, and there was that last storm shelter at the top of the mall by Dillard's, and there was no camera and no mics in there, and that's where I'd go. I mean, I'd make a really slow walk through there. I'd have my little flip phone in my pocket, and that's where I'd make my call, and then I'd go around and do my rounds. And that's how and they would never stop me off that. It was like, look, you give me a problem, I'm going to fix the problem in my head and how I can get around it. Because you've now created a problem for me that I've got to fix. So now I'm going to fix it, which means I've got to find a way of doing what I want to do, but also abiding by the rules. And there's going to be a breaking the rules, but you're not going to see a breaking the rules because you've made that kind of like clear. I can't break the rules, but I'm going to break the rules. You're just not going to see me do it.
You remember the older dude who used to walk around the mall and he had this Viagra cap? You remember that guy? I complained about it. So I mean, he was like an older dude. He just walk around all cocky, like anybody and all that.
Did he walk around kind of like this?
he was watching all the young chicks, the underage girls.
Wow.
I went to the mall manager about that, and I said, "Look, I'm not the type of person who tells on anybody or anything. I mind my own business for the most part. However, I have two nieces who are very young. They look like Amazons. They do not look their age. They look much older than they are, And I said, this guy, you've got to see him on your screen. I'm pretty sure you have a computer that you can see people who are walking around. I said, have you not noticed the guy? He wears the Viagra cap it's like every day he's walking through there, and he's really eyeing the young girls.
I wish I'd known.
She acted like she didn't see that.
I wish I'd known, because nothing would have given me greater pleasure going, okay, so I need to have a word with you. You need to relax. Don't be so stiff. Just relax. Just because that's me,
I'm going to tell you, I wish I'd thought of that. I didn't think that. I would have said it my own self. I would have said, look, if you take one look at my nieces, I'm just begging you to.
Yeah. There would have been a whole, I mean, because when you find something to prod and poke, and then it's just like, with me, it's like words. So I then would come out with all the words that could relate to that one thing to throw into a sentence or to the conversation.
It comes out.
And that's why I get a reputation at work. They're going like, once you start, I'm like, yeah, I can't help it. It's like this, one of the guys, he was actually the son of the owner, used to call me Bazinga. He said, because you're so quick with the comebacks. He goes, I'd say something and you'd be so quick. He goes, it's just like, but this Bazinga coming back. And I was like, yeah, okay. But
oh my God. This reminds me of Brad. Brad does this all the time, and I'm always seeing stuff he puts on Facebook. So they're trying to take women's rights away, because, but I don't want to have a baby. I can kill it, whatever. Right. It's out on the table, whatever. And so Brad just had to put something in, and I'm like, that's my son. So he put something out there, lady, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Didn't look feminine at all. I mean, it was just like you tell she was a lesbian. She just, wanted women's rights. So he said, why are you worried? There's nothing for you to worry about.
Sometimes
we got to call it a day. Gosh, Rick,
I know.
We need to start having 2-hour shows.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely, because the time just goes by too fast. But thank you, Rick, for being with me today. It's been awesome.
Thank you for having me, Donna.
And thank you guys for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Come back again. Send emails. I love them. Send email to Donna@donnasedge.com, because you're the boss of me. You tell me the kind of shows you want to see. And Rick is one of them. So again, thank you so much, Rick, for being with us. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.